I had a frozen shoulder. I couldn't move my right arm freely. I couldn't pick it up. I couldn't put it behind my back. Movement in this arm was so painful. I'd got osteoarthritis. Then when the left arm started to get bad, I had to adjust which arm I used on which day while I was at work. Menopausal issues, hot flushes, it would affect my sleep. I turned on my right side, the pain would wake me up. I turned on my left side and the pain would wake me up. Rheumatologist, um, quite dismissive initially. I'll go back and get another diagnosis. And I've never been one that really liked painkillers. The doctor told me to go away and take paracetamol 4 times a day. It made me feel very unwell. From the age of 11, I'd suffered from migraine headaches. Migraines are not just a headache. They affected my vision, sometimes nausea. There's nothing but to go and lie down in a darkened room and sleep. And then the next day you feel delicate. I haven't had a migraine since I've been taking this nutrition. The joint pains not need painkillers for 12, 13 years. I don't have to see my GP. I'm not one of those people that has to ring up at 8 o'clock and be in a queue of 20, 30 people because I just don't have a need. My name's Faith Vidal, and about 20 years ago, I had a frozen shoulder. Subsequent to that, I got a diagnosis of osteoarthritis, and I'd suffered from migraines from the age of 11, which affected my sleep, my energy. But now today, I have great energy. The pains in my joints and my frozen shoulder are all a non-issue. And I've got the energy to chase around and be on the floor with my grandchildren. What a drastic change this has made for me.
Wow, so this interview is actually a really, really good one. And actually, just before we go forward, if you wouldn't mind, please do hit the subscribe button and do the notifications as well. It's really going to help my channel to grow, so I really, really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get on with the interview. Thank you for watching.
I'm Faith. I am in my 70th year.
You're in your 70th year. Honestly, you know what? You don't look it. It's incredible, right? And yeah, I mean, do you generally get compliments like that from people? What do you think?
Yes, I do. Yes, because people say my skin looks good and healthy, and they notice my energy as well, Mo.
Right, okay. And they notice your energy as well. We're gonna get into that, Faith, right? So yeah, what before we go into that, how were you before? Like, what were your health complaints that you were struggling with before you found out about our product range?
Well, I had a frozen shoulder. That was where one of my complaints started, which meant I couldn't move my right arm freely. I couldn't pick it up. I couldn't put it behind my back. So a lot of activities were restricted, not only by movement, but with a lot of pain.
Okay.
Uh,
And around about how long ago was that, can I ask?
that's quite a few years ago now, Mo. I'm trying to think. So it could be 15, 20 years ago that
Right.
started.
So
Mhm.
basically, when you're around about in like your 50s, basically early 50s, that's amazing because you know, I think about myself, I'm coming up on my 50s fairly soon, right? And yeah, so you know, so you had so basically, so start again then. So it was basically frozen shoulders and
It was just one shoulder that was frozen, but after that, I started getting pains in my other shoulder and other joints in my body quite significantly. So I did see a doctor or two, and they gave me a diagnosis that I'd got osteoarthritis.
right, okay, at the age of around about 50-ish. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. And how was it affecting your life?
So at the time, uh, well, firstly, I was at work, so using the mouse, I used my right hand. I had to switch and use my left hand because movement in this arm was so painful. So I had to learn to use my left hand quite well with the mouse. But then when the left arm started to get bad, I had to sometimes adjust which arm I used on which day while I was at work. So that was quite challenging, really. And I've never been one that really liked painkillers, but there were times when I felt I didn't have a choice but to take a painkiller.
Right, so it was so bad. And you did kind of like a clerical kind of job,
Yeah.
as do most people these days, right?
Mm.
So imagine there's so many people that are probably in their 40s and 50s that do desk work, clerical jobs, and maybe they're going through similar things, right? So if by the way, if for the audience that's listening, if this is you and you can relate, maybe leave a comment in the video below or something like that. So, okay, thank you, Faith. That was really cool. So basically, you had like this frozen shoulder. It was so bad in your right shoulder, you had to switch your mouse hand, and then actually sometimes the pain was so bad that you might even consider taking painkillers, even though you're not someone who generally would be taking painkillers, right? And
Hmm.
how else was it affecting your life? Like how bad did it get?
So it would affect my sleep because at night when I turned on my right side, the pain would wake me up. I'd turn on my left side and the pain would wake me up. So sleep was quite challenging. Also, I was at an age where a lot of ladies um, have menopausal issues. So night, there might be hot flushes or generally just not sleeping the way that you would have done in your earlier years. And that was one of my issues. But we just do what we can um, to overcome that. And your energy is then affected because you've not slept well.
Right, absolutely. And sleep is like the most important thing. I know from a previous health experience, I almost died about 20, 25 years ago, just as I was approaching 30. And or that was about 15 years ago actually. But yeah, and what I discovered is sleep. Sleep is when you rejuvenate. And if you can't sleep, then you can't rejuvenate properly.
Mm.
So yeah, that must have been quite stressful. So diagnosis of osteoarthritis, and it was also kind of coming up with menopause kind of symptoms, and it was affecting your sleep. And so, how did you find kind of engaging with the normal medical system or the NHS or whatever, the normal doctors and stuff? How much progress were you making, and were you getting much hope out of all of that?
It's a good question, because I always had sought alternative therapies if I could find something that would work for me. So when I saw a rheumatologist, um, quite dismissive initially of my symptoms, um, and I saw someone that practices a Japanese soft tissue manipulation. And he said to me, you need to go back and get another diagnosis because that's not right, what they're dismissing you. I went back, and that's when I was told I got osteoarthritis. They did various other tests on me because I had dry eyes and dry mouth. Because of that, thankfully, they didn't give me the drugs that they wanted to, because the drugs would have made me more dry. Um, but the doctor told me to go away and take paracetamol 4 times a day. 4 times a day. Imagine. Well, although I'm not one for going that route, I thought I will give this a try to see if it makes a difference. And it didn't. It made me feel very unwell. And so I decided that there was no point in going back to see the doctor, the consultant, that I would only take the paracetamol if my pain was extremely acute. So that was my experience with the GP, the consultant, apart from them wanting to give me a cortisone injection in my shoulder, which again I refused. I thought I would just find methods to overcome this.
Okay. So, yeah, and isn't it interesting that, because I think that most people know that taking too much paracetamol is really, really bad for you, yet, that's what you were being told by the GP, and yeah, and also, sorry, the rheumatologist specialist as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. And you've always kind of been interested in alternative kind of therapies. So, what other kind of alternative things had you tried?
Yes, so I'd gone to a local health shop and sought out things that people suggested were good for the joints. So I took some things from the health shop. I took some things that people had recommended for menopause. So it was what was at the local health shop.
Would you mind? Would you mind expanding, like what kinds of things? You don't have to mention brand names if you don't want to, but I mean, if there's certain,
Yeah.
remedies,
Um, so
herbs and stuff.
it's remembering the names of them actually, but I know there was chondroitin, which is for the joints, glucosamine for the joints. There was a yam, um, a, a, a yam. There was a yam cream, and there was also a yam tablet. I can't remember all these sorts of things, but it was basically putting a little chemist on my counter. You
Right.
know, there was a bottle of this, bottle of that, bottle of this, and a bottle of that. So I was just trying different things of that sort. And as I said, I would go to someone that practiced Japanese soft tissue manipulation, which is a real massage therapy, really, which is good at the moment, at the time, for a couple of days, but it's not getting to the root of the
Yeah,
problem.
because the root was actually in the bones. And, no matter how much deep tissue kind of massage you're going to get in your muscles, it's not going to change anything in the bones, right?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting. So, what was it that basically inspired you to basically try something different? Was there someone that you met in particular? Or, yeah, like what was it?
Yeah, and there was something I didn't mention as well, Mo, is that from the age of 11, I'd suffered from migraine headaches.
Uh-huh.
So that was a challenge for me over my years. I had various medications from doctors. As your years change, hormones change, migraines and headaches have different patterns. So again, I tried methods to see what I could do to reduce that. And a friend of mine who had tried this nutrition, a very good friend of mine, she's much younger than me, but she came to me because she was getting great results, not only with her energy and her sleep, but her menstrual cycle, which was something she'd struggled with quite acutely. And she was really noticing changes there. And she said, I think this is something you should hear about because I know you like to hear about things that are alternatives rather than pharmaceutical. And that was what piqued my interest.
Oh, right. Okay, brilliant. So you basically had a friend who was also interested in alternative type things, and she
Mm,
was getting a significantly very, very good result from the
mm.
thing that she was trying, which happened to be the product that we know each other through, right? And the company that we know each other through. And so for the viewer, if you want to find out more about this product, please do click on there'll be a video that is pointed to at the very end of this interview. So please do click on that in order to find out more. So let's continue with Faith then. Okay, so basically, it was a friend that introduced you to our thing, right? And then, and is your friend still active? Like, do I because I think that you're mentored by someone else within our company, right?
Yes, yes. At the time, she herself was just a customer.
Right.
So she was just taking the products, but she just referred me because she knew my interest in natural things. And so, yeah, she was not a distributor or at that time.
Okay, and she directly under Jason then, and that's why you now work with Jason, or
Yeah. Well, She wasn't directly under Jason, but she was within the team that Jason supports. Yes.
Right.
She's moved out of the country, so she's on the other side of the world actually. So she's in Australia. So
Right. Okay. And that was about 20 years ago that you'd basically came into this company then, right?
no, I
Uh,
came into the company about 12, 13 years ago as a
right.
customer. Mm.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. So between the age of about 50 and 60, right, and maybe mid 60s or something, that's basically when you started. Is that about
No,
right?
no. So I was in my late 50s, wasn't I? So if I've been in the company about 13 years. So I was in my late 50s. Yes, that's right. 13
Right.
years
Right.
from where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and now you work quite closely with Jason, and you're quite a
Mhm.
big name within our team because you host the Monday night calls, and you also host some of the main meetings as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, t tell us a little bit about how you find working with Jason and about and our team basically.
Oh, well, the team environment, I mean, it is a family. It really is. People that I've met through doing this business. Well, I mentioned earlier about getting energy, and there's a very positive energy amongst us. We're positive, we're supportive. Jason's built a real team infrastructure to help us develop, help others, because that's what it's about, isn't it? Just like my friend, she knew I wanted help. She didn't know what these products would do for me, but she knew what it done for her. And so our team infrastructure has been set up in such a way that it's just, how can I say? I would say it's just a wonderful environment. If anyone chooses to come on board,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
we support each other.
would you say that Jason is he's a really good mentor? Yeah.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, Jason, what an amazing mentor, and for the viewer, at some point, you definitely want to meet Jason. So let's make that happen as well. So just keep watching these videos, and eventually, you're probably going to want to try. I mean, we have a 30-day money back guarantee on the product, so there's absolutely no risk. You could literally try it for 30 days. And then give back an empty can and get your money back. So you might as well try it, and then the next step would be to meet some of our team anyway. So again, just click on the video that's going to be signposted at the end. So let's go back to the questions. So um before you started taking the product, right? Because you'd already tried lots of different things, including the Japanese deep tissue massage and things like that. And you like you said, you had like almost your own kind of chemist counter, of different products and different concoctions and things from the health shop, and nothing really quite working. So was there any barrier to even trying the product in the first place? Like, did you not think it might be a bit expensive, or it might be no, nothing?
None of that came to mind. I trusted my friend, um, and I just thought, give it a go, give it a go, because I've tried other things that people have recommended. Why would I try something that this friend recommended? It makes sense. So that's where I went. And then I got connected to the person who did become my upline, and she explain more about the science behind the products, how long the company's been in existence, other people that have been helped and their stories. And so it just made sense that I gave it a try and just see what happens for me.
Excellent. Okay. And so after you started on the product, around about how long was it before you started noticing a result?
So really within the first I would say 30 to 60 days, certainly noticed a change in my energy. I started to notice a change in my sleep. My joints took a bit longer to notice. But sometimes when you've got something, and it's surprising that it happens, something that's going in your body, you not recognize straight away that that pain's gone? Somehow you don't. Yes. And it took me a while. I was doing Pilates exercise and I was able to do it without modifying it. And it dawned on me that I hadn't modified the exercise because my arm was now free and it didn't hurt. So I can't give you a time on that because I don't know when it happened, which is
Ama-
how bizarre.
Really amazing, really amazing. And I know from my mum's story as well, you know, because her nervous system was just screaming in pain, just screaming in pain. And also her memory was such that she couldn't even remember yesterday. So she wasn't able to compare how she's feeling today with yesterday or the day before, right? And so all she knows is that she's in pain now. And so the first people to really notice her recovery was actually me and my dad, because we were noticing, wow, well, you're definitely moving with a lot more strength. You're able to go up the stairs a lot quicker, or you're able to stand up a lot with a lot more vigor and vitality. So, when the body's in pain, as you say, you don't notice. But what you did notice very early on was how it was affecting your sleep and also how it was lifting your mood as well. So amazing within 30 to 60 days. And then also, as you say, just one day you kind of realized, oh, I can move my shoulder again.
Mm.
So that's amazing. That's a really, really, I think that's a really inspiring result, Faith. Thank you. Have you watched enough of these interviews to know that actually maybe it's worth just taking the next step? Well, it's a great decision, especially with our 30-day money back guarantee. Like, literally, you can give it a really good go, meaning that you're going to wind up with empty cans of product anyway. And you can send those empty cans back to the company, and no quibble, no fuss, no messing about. The company are just going to send you your money back. So it won't even have cost you anything to try it. But you know what? If you've watched enough of these interviews, you know that it's worth trying for 30 days. So let's get you started. Just in the eye there, or in the description below, or at the end of the video, there's going to be a video entitled Next Steps, How to Buy. Something like that. So without further ado, just go ahead and click and find that video. Otherwise, let's just get back to the interview. How do you know that it's simply not a placebo effect or a coincidence, right? How do you know that it's not just all of a sudden maybe the medications, or I don't know if you were gonna be taking medications at this point, you'd probably stopped. I think you already said you kind of weren't really taking painkillers, but how do you know it's not a placebo effect, Faith?
Well, there are so many. Let me just deal with the migraines, for example. Migraines are not just a headache. For me, they affected my vision. There was sometimes nausea. And without taking any other medication or anything, there's nothing but to go and lie down in a darkened room and sleep. And then the next day you feel delicate. There's nothing that's had a positive effect on me except these products like that, in the fact that I haven't had a migraine since I've been taking this nutrition consistently. And that is one thing I have to say, it's been very consistent because we eat every day, we drink every day, and we need to take these products every day consistently enough for our bodies to do the right thing. So if it was a placebo effect, I don't think I could just have a mind over matter, as it were, or with migraines. That's just one aspect of my health.
Okay.
Then the joint pains, again, I can't imagine that a placebo is going to reduce my pains or not need painkillers for 12, 13 years.
Yeah, It's just like, how can that just be, a placebo effect, right? And given that you're taking something and you're taking it every day, right? So talking about taking it every day, are you still taking it then?
Absolutely. I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't stop. Um, at my tender age, people talk about a tender age, but I certainly don't feel like a tender age. Um, and I want to age healthily. We know the NHS and the health service are under strain. Why do I want to add to that strain? I want to reduce that strain. I don't have to see my GP. I'm not one of those people that has to ring up at 8 o'clock and be in a queue of 20, 30 people because I just don't have a need. So why would I not keep taking it to help my body age healthily as best I can?
Right. And also, I mean, again, Faith, you look amazing considering your age as well. It's just
Thank you.
incredible. And especially when you talk about, I mean, are you still able to kind of like, you talk about playing with your grandchildren, getting on the floor and things like that. Is that still something that happens?
Absolutely. Well, they're older now, and I still keep up with them. I do my garden. I was skipping for a charity challenge. I've inspired others to skip because it's good exercise. I do it in the house on the carpet, so I'm cushioning the joints. But again, would I be able to do that if I had all these joint pains? No. So skipping is a good exercise for me. I love to dance. I love to walk. So you can imagine this has made such a huge difference to the way I face my years ahead.
Incredible, Faith. I mean, so, so for the viewer, uh, Faith is like she's in her 70s basically, and she's still skipping and dancing and being youthful and, walking around and being independent and just, as you say, not being a burden on the NHS, but just really enjoying your life because, you're interested in healthy aging and you're getting that. And that's why you still keep taking the product because it's allowing you to do that, right? And
Mhm.
so how what would you say to anyone that's skeptical about that then? Like, because the fact is you're making someone some money, right? So what would you say to anyone that's skeptical about that?
Well, whatever we do, we're making someone some money. Um, you go to the shop and you buy your fruit and veg. The shopkeeper has to be paid. The farmer has to be paid. We would never want to hold back from paying a farmer, would we? Whatever we do, put petrol in our car, or even if we don't, if we walk, we have to buy shoes. Whatever, there is somebody's money is being exchanged for someone, for something. So it has to happen. But skeptical about the products, there are thousands and thousands of testimonials like mine, some a lot worse issues. Um, Take a look. That's what I would say. Take a look yourself, see what this is to offer, and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask.
Brilliant. Thank you, Faith. And also, I mean, obviously, so because I know that you also make money from this company as well, right? And so, paying for the products I don't think is a problem for you. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah,
Right. So for the viewer, there is a business opportunity. Obviously, the first thing is you should just try the product for yourself because, you don't want to sell something that you don't know that it actually works, right? So, and again, it's a 30-day money back guarantee. You can literally try it for 30 days and give back an empty can and still get your money back if you just don't like it. But if you do like it, then there is a way that you could also become a distributor. You could make money and then you could just wind up paying for it out of your own earnings as well. So more about that coming up soon as well. Faith, we're almost done. Okay. So how would you say that our product compares with all those other strategies that you tried back in the day then?
well, all the strategies had a very limited benefit. very limited. So none of them gave me the ease, the pain-free that I have today. None of them. So in fact, it's like there's no comparison really. I'm not saying that some of those products don't work for other people in a limited extent as well and give them some measure of relief. But this takes it up to another level. So definitely, I would say I'm so pleased that my friend introduced me to this. So pleased.
Thank you. I mean, certainly for sure, you had like this shelf of like, chemist type things, concoctions and whatever, but you were still minded to try something different because you still had a seized up shoulder and you still had pain and you still had
Mhm.
trouble sleeping. And within 30 days, 60 days of trying this product, you were able to sleep a lot more, your mood was lifted. And even, you just noticed that all of this suddenly started moving again. So
Mm,
I imagine that would have been, that must figure in there as well somewhere, right? Um,
absolutely.
so what would you say to your younger you weren't really skeptical when you were younger, actually. So this question doesn't even apply to you. So so I think you've already said what you would say to anyone that is skeptical. You tell them to just try it, right? So any final words then, Faith?
Well, I would say that we were talking about healthy aging, and aging healthily doesn't start when you're 50, 60, or 70. Healthy aging starts much younger because what you do in or put in your body, what you do with your body, how you treat your body affects your older self. Start looking at prevention rather than waiting until something needs fixing. So I would say, look at yourself. If you're a younger person, don't dismiss this as I don't need anything. Certainly look at this and see what it does for you for the future.
I love what you just said about start looking at prevention, right? Because actually, younger people these days, the way that they abuse their bodies, like with vaping, I mean, I just started as a care worker recently, and wow, I mean, some of the people that are basically your age, right, who I'm caring for. And I see the state, and I can't bring our product to them because of professional boundaries and stuff. But so I see their old age, but then some of the care workers who are younger as well, and I see what they do to their bodies, and they're definitely kind of I see them heading that way. Whereas you could be doing preventative things that may also have a cost. I mean, how much does it cost to vape? How much does it cost to have a shop bought coffee or an energy drink every day? Compared to how much it costs for having our product, which actually is going to help you to age healthily and give you way more cleaner and much better energy. So, Faith, thank you so much for an amazing interview. And hopefully, we're going to have you back again at some point, if that's okay, right?
Sure.
And yeah, and please do catch Faith on some of her meetings as well. So you're going to find out about that, especially if you start trying our product. Or if you kind of click through and get my contact details and just ask me, oh, I'd like to meet Faith, then, maybe you can join one of our calls with Faith as well. So thank you for watching to the viewer, and please do watch some more of the interviews coming up. Bye for now. How good was that interview? Now, if you're inspired by it, and if you know that there is somebody else in your life that really ought to watch this video, then please do forward it to them so that they can also be inspired by it and so that they can benefit from the hope that they're going to be able to get from it. Okay? This is why I'm doing this channel, because I want to bring to you all this knowledge of people who have got over these incredibly debilitating conditions that that normally people would just give up and think, well, that's actually just how my life's going to be now. You know, people that have wheelchair conditions like MS, multiple sclerosis, or, you know, fibromyalgia, or cancer, or, you know, psychiatric conditions even, or heart conditions, or diabetes, or eczema, or people suffering with long COVID right now. So many people suffering with long COVID right now. And, you know, in the case of my mum, she got over long COVID. That's how I know about this community of people and this product, you know, that they've been using, because it's an amazing product as well. It's a 35-year-old company. And the product itself doesn't actually heal the body, but it contains the right nutrition for the body to heal itself. You know, God has blessed us with a really beautiful physical body that, given the right building blocks and the right nutrition, basically it can detox and heal itself from pretty much anything, and the proof is in these interviews. So please do keep coming back and watch more interviews. And yes, and please do subscribe, because it really helps me to grow my channel as well. So I really appreciate it. I really want to help as many people as possible. I'm a care worker by day, and you know, I see a lot of people with these types of conditions, but they're at the end of their lives, and I can't say a word because I'm representing a care company that has their own operating practices. But I feel so sorry for them, because I know of something that could really help them. So please do, if you know people that have these conditions, let them know that there is hope, okay? If you want to find out more about our product and why it works, please click through to the video that is going to be linked here. Okay, so come back, watch more interviews. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.